Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Airfix's latest release. This is the 1/48 scale Gannet. So this is the AS.1/AS.4 version, as you can see here. Lovely box art as always on the actual Airfix kits these days. And again, been looking forward to seeing this one for many weeks, and finally I've been managed to get my hands on one. So, usual bits on the box, not a lot on there. Kit number for this one is A11007 007. And a couple of bits about the actual Ganet itself, as you can see down on there, some of the different ones. So what have we got down in here? We've got 849 Squadron, which is training unit at Culdrose, which is, to be honest, a local unit to me, only down in Cornwall. And then also we've got 815 Squadron off of HMS Ark Royal, 1958. And we've got down in here 847 Squadron in Cyprus as well, 1957. So you have got a couple of nice little options down in there. Now this is a brand new kit delivered from PM Models, so thank you to the guys there. And say we are still tabbed, and obviously I have seen this kit, I've handled it, I've looked at it, spoken about it a lot, but I've never actually had a proper look through it. Alright, so this will be quite nice. So we've got multiple bags. First bag, and second bag, and third bag, which looks to be more weapon-esque than in that bottom one, and then eventually we are down into the instructions. Now, before everybody asks, this one is done from India. I know obviously some of them done in the UK now. Well, a few of them are done in the UK now. All right, so huge big decal sheet on that particular one. So what we'll do is we'll just, now we've got it out of the box, we'll zoom the camera just in a little bit. Here we go, that's better. All right, so usual blurb about the aircraft and all the rest of it, and then we can get straight into it. So, usual Airfix way of doing it with the colour callouts. In red means it's the important bit you need to look at, all right, and it's identifying certain areas. Colour callouts right the way through. Looks like we've got some decals going on with these ones as well, so anything in a red square means it's a decal to be positioned to it as well. So technically what you're doing down in here, starting off in the bomb bay area. Now, as you can see, 15 grams of weight. You're going to need weight. Don't try and do it without it. It will bite you. This thing is a massive tail sitter. All right, so make sure you get the nose weight in there, or what they've done is they've given you very nicely a little tub there so you can fit your nose weight down into it, and then that way it'll be secure. It's not going to poke out and annoy any other fitting areas. Then we got the deck going on the top. Then you've got the nose wheel section and the various parts going into it. Then we're making up the actual cockpit area itself. So this is the rear one, which I do believe is for the sort of navigator. He's going to sit behind with the various bits and pieces down in there. And then again, right the way through with the various things for the bulkheads going through for the pilot and the actual navigator. Then we've got obviously instrument panel, various things. Decals are making up those, as you might expect, right the way through. Down here to the back where we've got the rear observer and with all his bits and pieces as well. All right, so plenty of nice bits to go in there as well. Sidewall detail is going to go into this one right the way through, and again we've got decals which are going to liven up those areas, absolutely lovely for you. And then with all of that done, you can actually slide it all in together. Now originally, excuse me, there was a pod that went in here that you'd put another 55 grams of weight into the actual area, but they've decided in their infinite wisdom that it doesn't need it, and you can actually get it all to fit in. What you just need to make sure is all of that nose weight is before this little line. All right, so it is all down in that little area. So the pod rear one, which had the first lot of nose weight, goes down in here. Second lot of nose weight is going to go in this area. So anywhere shaded in purple is fine. You don't really have to fill it. If you're going in there, you're not going to need to fill that entire space up to get that amount of weight in. But it is saying, because obviously the engine is going to come back somewhat, and obviously it's going to butt up against it. By not having a pod in there, I assume the reason they've sort of not bothered putting it in on the final one is because it will give you even more room to get stuff in. All right, so no problem with that. Then obviously you've got them all going through. You've got big old wing spars, and it should slide together beautifully. All right, down in there. Next up, we've actually got the little radome underneath, which fits through. Obviously you can have it exposed and down, or you can have it closed off as well, depending on which way you want to do this one, i.e. in flight it's obviously going to be down, and then obviously it's going to be retracted for landing. Then you're coming right the way in with the old wheel wells all the way in there, and again some nice little touches with this one, the way that you've actually got these are sort of temporary parts, if you like, going down in here already, just to make sure your alignment is all in with these ones. All right, so again, purple areas tend to mean they're a temporary design. Again, opening up the holes if you're going to be putting the rockets onto this one, and we've got these strengthening boxes going in just to make sure the wings are solid. All right, so there's no flex in the middle of them and stuff like that, and then this way they get around the problem of actually having to mold big chunks of plastic in this one as well. So again, nice way of doing it. With all of those ones down in there, you can actually slot the wings on. They're going to go down tracks into these wing spars, and again there's a slight recess, you can probably see it just down in here, and then what happens is that the wings slide in that, so you don't have to worry about lines and gaps and things like that. Ailerons are a separate fit, so if you wanted to, you can obviously have those in various positions. And then again, just down in here, you've got these tips going on the outsides of them as well for the actual wingtip parts. Again, then you've got a sort of situation where you've got, obviously with the wings, if you can do it as wings folded, it's going to be more modular, and you're going to go through and put these all into position as a modular fit right the way through. So again, depending if you're doing it wing folded up or wings out. If you're doing it folded up, pretty much similar, but you've got it in various stages. So instead of just one big wing, you're going to be in three little ones. So you've got the sort of inner wing, the mid wing, and then the outer wing, making the famous Z. Down in there right the way through. So again, exactly the same, putting all of those together and you'll be in. Tailplanes being fitted down into this one, the rudder, all right, and the various fins just down here at the back, very nice and straightforward. Then we've got the flaps all being fitted down into this one, and as we've spoken about in previous shows, what they've actually done is put tabs in with the numbers, so this way you actually get the right flaps tabs are the actuators for the right flap, because if you get them around the wrong way, it's not going to work. So what they've actually done is put these on, and you leave them there until you're ready to fix it into position. When you fix it into position, you'll cut them off, but that's once you know which flap you're doing. All right, so again, it's just a little bit of a fail safe and stops you forgetting which way round you've got it. All right, then we're into that gorgeous engine at the front as here. So it's a twin engine, counter-rotating prop system right the way through. You're going to be putting that together, and then obviously you've got wheels in flight or obviously on the ground right the way through, and then say working our way through more of that prop work going down onto this one. And again, you can do it where obviously you don't want to glue the props together, so that way they can still counter-rotate for going down in there. Again, choices: Bombay closed, no problem at all. If you're going to go Bombay open, obviously you've got the weapons load for this particular one down in there, so you've got all the sort of bombs and torpedoes and depth charges and things like that down in there, just like that. And then again, nice heavy duty actuators which are going to hold then, and we've got a laminated system down in here with actual bomb bays, again giving you nice strong detail. All right, hardpoint pylons as well, various things going down into this one, rocket rails depending obviously if you're going to be loaded or empty, personal choice onto all of those ones right the way through. Then we got the glass work being fitted down into these ones, and again some nice little touches down in here. We've got a template, so H7 is just a jig for just templating where you're going to be putting these holes in, so it will just help you with the whole lineup, making sure they're in, and then obviously when this part goes in at the top, it's in the perfect alignment position for it. Clear parts being fitted, again another choice is windscreen wipers on or off. Take your pick with that particular one. We have got a crew for it, so if you want to put the crew in, we've got those ones in there just like that. And then again, we spoke about it before, if you want the radome up or down, obviously you've got your tail hook as well with the various positions, personal choice. Exhaust being fitted down onto this one, and then final attachment is just putting the actual wings on if you're in the folded position. And what you've got is these nice support bars which are going to go in and actually just help carry a little bit of weight for the actual ones as well, so that's really nice. But they're a really good chunky design, you shouldn't really have any problems with those ones at all. But if you do want the retaining bar in there, you can pop it in, or you don't have to as well. So again, usual sort of standard with Airfix, nice instructions all the way through. So Decals, giant decal sheet, as you can probably see down in here. And if we have a little bit more closer look at it, you can see very nice, good, clean, solid registry all the way through on these, as you can see. So yes, nothing to worry about with Airfix decals now. Those decals are going to need placements. So down in here we've got stencil data. So you've got a stencil data sheet just down like this that's going to show all of those ones, and then the different ones down in here. So this is the Cypress based one from 1957. Again, really nice with the stripes. So yeah, it's quite going to be a popular one, I imagine. And then again, we've got other ones just down in here as well. So we've got the one off the Ark Royal, 1958, and we've got the local one to me, which is Coldrow's one in 1959. All right, so again, very nice details down in there. So, huge big bags. So what we'll do is we'll just come through at the top here. We'll just chop our way in. And then we've got spare parts, which we'll do last. I think it'll be easier. And then we've got the bags. So, one part wings there. So this is the actual main sprue layout of all of these. And again, when you look at it, the big notice is, and I was saying, if you hold it up to the light, which if I just do my phone, you'll be able to see this just a little bit. You can see how things have slightly moved along just a little bit now. Where's my torch? Come on. So if I just get my torch under this without blinding the camera, you can probably see how thin some of the parts are. So you can see where the recesses are to this of what they've needed to go through and done. So again, you can see these ones quite clearly down in here, these areas. So it is quite thin. Same on the other side, look, you can make these out. And that's the thinness that it's actually had to be made to be able to get that all in there. Turn that off. There we go. But again, it's worth it because there's lots of detail in this kit right the way through. Really nice as well, one giant section as well with the actual bomb bay. But let's start on the fuselage bits. You can see beautiful recessed riveting right the way through. And again, all the lumps and bumps, very nicely done, very sharp, very crisp. I'm looking at mine because apparently there has been some issues with some short shots as always. But it looks like I've got away with it so far. And again, very nice with all of those. There's that bomb bay. Again, beautiful, complex ribbing and detail all the way through. It's fantastically done. This is the sort of flight deck if you want for the one. So obviously you've got the rear observer down the back, the sort of radar navigator down in here. And then obviously we've got the pilot at the front. Surface details all done very nicely indeed. All right. Then over here you can see some of the bulkheads with the wiring details, all the bits and pieces. So these are the two tubs. So basically you've got this first tub as well, you can put nose weight. This is the second one, which then it doesn't mention about putting it in the kit because you don't have to. If you want to, you can fill that up with weight as well, but actually it's not necessary and that's why it's not mentioned in the instructions. I think the original version, it was going to have it, was shown about it all in there. Generally though, you can see you've got these cutouts and the ejector pins are pretty flush. Just going to need a little bit of a sand, I think, just to make sure they're in nicely. But these are these cutout areas for the sidewall details to go in. Same on the other side as well. But generally though, I think that's really nice. Last up, obviously we've got the closed bomb bay down in here. Very nice. And this is obviously the engine of how that's going to work as well with both the intakes in there and the bits again. Very, very nice indeed. Okay, so same time as that, we've got this one over here, which is the wings. So this is the wings in the open position. All right. So unfortunately, you can't do it as a both. So what I mean by that is you can't actually have this kit with the actual wings open and wings folded and just change the wings, if that makes sense. There could be an issue. You could do it if he's going to do it in flight, but obviously you need all the internal detail structure and things like ailerons and tail bits and things like that to do it. So unfortunately it's not going to show. What's really nice with these though is that when you have a closer look, we've got all the strengthening plates molded in on the outside. So you've got a beautiful mixture of raised and recessed details on all of these right the way through, as you can see. So you've got these sort of strapping ones going through down in here. We've got raised, which obviously with the hinges are raised and things like that. So some details are raised, some are recessed. Exactly the same as you can see on the other side as well. And then obviously there's nothing really on the inside because you've got these locating areas for these strengthening areas. And then obviously we've got down in here the big square. That's where your wheel well's going to go. And then the two train sort of tracks next to it. This is where the actual wing spars are going to slot into as well. So very nice job on that. Last up, just down in here, this is the housing for the radar. All right, for the surface radar. And obviously that's the surface radar in two bits just like that. So yes, very nice indeed. Okay, next up in the next bag we have, so if we do the wing fold one next, I think that'll be a better way of somewhat doing this. Are these match pair? This is D and C. Okay, no, they're not match pair, but they're very similar looking. All right, so as you say, it's a similar type of setup with this, because obviously we've got the actual wings folded now right the way through. So imagine that sort of as a straight. These are these infill areas, things like that, right the way through. So again, if we zip in a bit closer, again, it's the same surface detail as you might imagine just on the other ones. This is the inside of the bomb base. We were saying about it's laminated together. That's the external, that's the internal. So again, nicely done, so we don't have to do any cleanup way. Control surfaces down the back end, so very nice as well. So we've got the tail planes down in there and the elevators, again very nice. We've got those little fins which are molded in one. The fins are done in one, so again those look very nice. Nice detail on those ones, as you can see. All right, then on the other one, get rid of that bag. You can see very similar right the way through. All right, so literally it's just the exhaust. You've got two exhausts with these ones, which are not fully hollow, but they're getting on for it. So some nice detail there, but obviously it's basically exactly the same as the other side. So you've got a port and starboard, but they haven't, you know, obviously they are numbered differently, C and D, because obviously one port, one starboard. Okay, last bag. Okay, so this is the bag with all the little bits. So where are we going to start? Let's start on this one. Big old sprue. As you can see, multi-part sprue down on this. So what we've got here is F, G and H sprues. So this one over here is obviously F, G in the middle, and then we've got H down at this end as well. So we've got some nice touches down on these. So what we'll do is, I think if we start over here, we can do a little bit on the old F sprue. So this is the main nose wheel. We've got the wheels, which are weight on wheels as well, which is a nice touch for all of those ones. And some of the smaller little details, I assume this is the nose wheel door cover as well. Very nice with those ones. And then moving up, we've got the onto G, we've got the counter rotating prop. So this is that sort of engine moments as it's coming through. And then we've got the spinner, and then obviously first and second stage props as well right the way through. One of the interesting things with this aircraft is it used to be able to shut one engine down and shut down one lot of props, leaving obviously one engine running and one not, which was obviously a fuel saving thing when it was on loiter. So clever little thing like that. Just spotted, we have got a little sink mark just down in there. Unfortunately, that's the first one we've seen, but just a little drop of something in there will take care of that. The sidewall detail we spoke about before, you can see those down in there. Doesn't look too bad. Then we've got the crew. So you've just literally got the crews moulded in one. You haven't got to put the arms on or anything else like that. So there is your flight crew of 3. All right, then obviously we've got some of the details. So we've got the radar scope and the various bits and pieces down in here. We've got the seats for the crew. Obviously we've got some of the bulkheads running through. We've got the pilot's instrument panel. I think this is the observers one as well. And then obviously observers box. And then last up on the end here, we've got some very small little tabs, little receivers. We've got the arrestor hook, and we've got the other parts just down here at the back. We've got the aerial pitot tubes, things like that. I assume this is the catapult hooks to hook it up to the catapult to get the thing flung off the aircraft carrier. So yeah, very nice. Lots of detail down in there. To be honest, that's the first sink mark I've seen. It's not on any other blade, and I haven't seen a short shot. Remember, if you see one in any of my videos, shout out. Sometimes I don't spot them as I do it. Okay, over on sprue E, you can see big old sprue here with lots of various small details on this one. So I think we'll break this one down slightly smaller. So as you can see, various ones between the wing folds. Obviously we've got consoles, but a lot of these obviously is brakes for the wing fold sections, wing fold locks and latches and things like that. Wheel wells, various bits making up the wheel wells, as you can see just down in here. So the wheel well detail looks very nice indeed. Main gear, weight on wheels, separate hubs all the way through. And then again, we've got these down in here for the actual main wheel well doors and things like that, and actuators. And then pretty much on the other side is just a copy of the side we've just seen all the way through. So what they've done is obviously you've got port and starboard just between these ones. So in between the doors, obviously, as you can see, we've got no ejector pins or anything else down in there. But yeah, clever way of doing the sprue design. So basically what they've said is that everything on this side will be the port or starboard side. This one will be port and starboard as well, whichever way you want to do it. All right, so that's very nice indeed. Last up, think weapons. So down here we've got rockets and everything else, and to be honest, it's got everything you could ever wanted it. So we've got multi-part heads down in here, which is a funny way of doing it, but hey, so down in here we've actually got the rockets themselves, as you can see, and they look like they're molded in one, but you haven't got the heads on this side, and then obviously you've got the other part of the fins for the back, so they've actually molded it separately around the front there, so it's not just a bulbous lump at the front. A little bit more detail with these ones as well, so that's done those. The racks obviously down in here, main bays obviously for the external ones as well, and then obviously down in here I think these are somewhat of depth charges, looks like something down in there like that, and then some more bits and pieces right the way through, and then I assume we've got sonar buoys and various things you might expect on these type of aircraft, depth charges, stuff like that right the way through. And again, it's a little bit multi-part. You can see on these how they actually are going to fit through the ends, various parts, and then obviously we've got racks for them all to be slung onto underneath the aircraft as well. So, and again, no problem with any of that. That all looks very nice indeed. Okay, clear parts. Make or break for the kit sometimes. So let's see what we've got in here. Very nice. Good, clean, sharp. We do have centre seams on the actual main canopies just down in here. If we just move in a little bit more, hopefully you can see it. Very nice. So again, the reason for getting two of these is obviously we've got one with a windscreen wiper, one with not. Personal choice if you do it. Obviously to aid with nav lights and various things down in here, they've done the entire wingtips in clear. Again, just to help you out with that one. This is a nice complex shape down in here for this little station between the pilot and the observer at the back here. It's really quite sharp in there. Again, shame with these ones, we have got a centre seam running right the way down the middle of all of these, but it's actually quite a sharp one as well. So again, popping in with the blade, polish and sand, you'll be absolutely fine. It's just that it's a complete nightmare shape because it's tiered. You can probably see it bulges out at the side, then goes in. So that's why they have to be done that way. There's no way to just slide a mold off because it needs to get around because it pinches in. So you need to have one mold underneath, two coming in from the outside. That's why you get the centre seam. There was actually no way around that to get that complex shape to be correct. But yeah, it is, at the end of the day, very, very nice indeed. And there you have it. I love it. I've seen a lot from this kit, to be honest with you. Been looking at it a lot over the last few months, and I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but as always, you know, we're at the bottom of the pile, I think, for getting kits these days. So, but yeah, it still lives up to all the hype that you've probably seen everywhere else. I can't find a fault with it. I am aware, because to be honest, we've got some of the Flory Models members have had them and they've had short shots. Airfix are really, really good at this. They have to be. But you literally shoot them a message, tell them they've got it. They usually want a batch number, which can be found usually on here somewhere, which is probably this one in here, and it will have the little batch number. If not, it's on the bags as well. It will say the batch number that it comes from. Normally you tell them that and they'll ship you out the replacement part, usually within a day or two. Certainly if you're inside the UK, you'll get it within a week, so it's not a problem. So if you do find out you have got something wrong with the kit, shoot them a message and they will sort it out. Generally though, it's really nice. Again, I think again it's another step up for Airfix. You know, you think if you go back even just a couple of years, we would never dream of seeing a fully riveted aircraft like this, let alone a complex one with wing folds and, you know, very detailed interiors, very detailed weapons bay, very detailed, you know, bomb bays, things like that. We wouldn't have seen it, but we are now. So again, I think this kit is, after we saw the Buccaneer, which was looking really nice and coming up to speed, now we're seeing this one. So I really think the future is really bright for Airfix, and their kits are getting more and more detailed, really, really nice. And also, they still don't break the bank. So at the end of the day, we're not talking 120 quid for this kit or anything else like that. So that's got to be a good thing. Anyway, that is the Airfix's brand new tooled 1/48 scale Fairey Ganet.